Okay. So we've done our 5 minutes dictation. Done that one, we're now on 25 minutes short questions, and then we'll do 5 minutes for our long question. Okay, so that's where we are now. We're going to sit and concentrate for 25 minutes. So what are we looking at today? Well, today we're going to be looking at the history of the atom. So how do we know? Oh, better. So how do we know about the atom, and who was one of the first people to start it? So today what we're looking at is the history of the ATOM, history of the atom, that's right. Now, it was actually a man called John Dalton. Oh, it feels better when it's out, doesn't it? So it's a man called John Dalton. He was born in 1766 and lived in the Lake District. He was taught at home by his father initially, and then he went to a Quaker school where he was amazingly clever. And by the time he was 12 years old, he was actually teaching other children. So the main man to do with the history of the atom is called J-O. Well done, J-O. Keep going, you're doing great. J-O-H-N, John, D-A-L-T-O-N, John Dalton, yeah, and he was born in the Lake District in the year 17 in 1766, yeah. And John, he was taught at home, and then he went to a school that was run by Quakers, and he was so clever that by the age of 12 he was actually teaching O-T-H-E-R, other C-H-C-H-I-L-D-R-E-D-R-E. Which of you won't go for your N? Teaching other children, that's right. So he was a very clever man. Now, what's interesting about this is that although he was very clever, a lot of what he did believe was actually incorrect because of the time and many hundreds of years ago that he was working. So, for example, he believed strongly that one hydrogen atom and one oxygen atom made of water. We actually now know that it's how many hydrogen atoms that you need to make water? Yeah, 2. But and that's not actually what other scientists believe. And the other interesting thing was he was the first one to put forward a theory about colour blindness. Have you heard about colour blindness, Christopher? Yes or no? Yeah. Have you heard about colour blindness? Yeah? Now, he actually had colour blindness, and he had a theory about it. And did you know that when he died, he asked the scientists to take out his eyes and to test his theory? And unfortunately, his theory was actually wrong. But the interesting thing about John Dalton was that he did actually have C-O-L-O-U-R, colour, B-L-I-N-D-N-E-S-S. Yeah, he did have colour blindness. And the other interesting thing about him is that a lot of his theories actually turned out to be I-N-A-C-C-U-U-R A-T-E, yeah, inaccurate. That's only because he lived so many hundreds of years ago. But that doesn't also take away from the fact that he did start the theory of atomic matter, and he had everything we do now. He's away. Thanks for letting me know.